G'day guys, and welcome back to SimWorld episode 14. So 14 episodes in, it does feel like we've been doing these for longer than 14 episodes, but episode 14, probably going to be a short one today. I do actually have somewhere to be after this. Today I'm going to be talking about the Square updates. I'm going to be talking about the ProTee VX, the top 10 requests, and then I'm also going to be talking about the impact strip. So the Joe Lagowski Golf impact strip. I will be kind of wrapping up. I'll probably do a separate video on the impact strip because I've had quite a few people reach out and I just want to clear up how I guess I'm going to start selling those because I've had quite a few people who are interested. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Let me know if everything's coming through. It looks like we've got a couple of people in the chat already. We've got Spike and we've got Ian. Thanks, Ian, for staying up. It's going to be a late night after midnight, so I really appreciate that. Timings for the show. I think this is probably a good time. About 9 o'clock for me Sunday morning is probably a good time for the show because it also kind of, for the UK viewers, they're going to have a late night, but it kind of works out with the UK and the US. Potentially, I'll look at sliding it maybe forward to 8 a.m. Might make it a bit easier for those UK viewers, but in the States, it's in the evening, like, you know, late afternoon, evening, so it works out for those guys as well. Ryan, thank you for joining in. I don't know if I've seen your name before, Ryan, unless you've changed your username. I can't remember seeing Ryan Van Loo. I don't think I've seen your name, but welcome. All right, let's kick into Square updates. So I've released a video now. I've just finished editing my other video on it. We've got the Square Golf Launch Monitor has had an update. This update happened a few weeks ago. I'm late to the show with the Square Golf update video. I've been super busy. It's been a crazy time with work, with home life, with everything. So trying to stay on top of all these updates with all these launch monitors is tough. But I'm happy to say the Square Golf Launch Monitor is going from strength to strength. Now, I've only used it for 9 holes in GS Pro, and I've used it in the application a little bit, not only for the video, but also I did some stuff just testing it out. I think I've got to play some more golf in GS Pro, but issues I was having before were that the unit, I would get a random high spin with driver, and this is like, we're clutching at straws because for the price, the device is pretty insane. I got a random high spin with my driver on one drive in the 18 holes, and then I would get a random ball speed loss. And you saw this if you watch my DPC Pebble update video, you saw the ball speed loss I had on 17. That was a real thing. So those are kind of the two issues I did have with the Square. I didn't see them in the 9 holes, and I'll release that video tomorrow, but I played 9 holes yesterday, or a few days ago now, and I didn't see those issues. Obviously, I've got to do a lot more testing, and this is what I've been saying to everybody who comments, is the thing with, you know, the channel and where I'm at now is I've got so many launch monitors that I'm trying to test and stay on top of. It does get hard to, you know, with work, I'm working harder and longer than I ever have. So with work, with home life, I've got 2 young kids. It's hard to stay on top of all these launch monitors and use them all like I used to do. So when I had the iMini, that was pretty much my sole device. When I had the GC2, that was my sole device. So I really got to know those devices inside out. And I'm trying to do the same with all these launch monitors, but it is getting hard to stay on top of them because I have so many. So I guess what that means is the Joe Lagowski golf community as a whole, I really am relying on you guys as well to feed in data. Now, Harris, Old Man Golf 2, he has been amazing. He sends me these really detailed messages about what he thinks, you know, with the Square device. But what I'd love to do going forward is within the Joe Lagowski Golf Discord chat and also the Facebook group, try and start some, you know, ongoing logs. And I think the Discord chat's going to be the best place to do it because you guys using the Square every single day, you're going to notice issues more frequently than I am because I'm only using it, say, once a week, once a fortnight. So I do think the Discord is going to be a good place to do that. Just have the ongoing chat about the launch monitor and issues that people are having. On top of that, I'm going to be doing a top 10 request video for the Square. We did one for the ProTee. I'm going to do it for the Square. I'm going to do it for all the devices I have, but the Square is going to be the next one that I do that video on. I feel like I feel like we have a good platform now as a community to try and influence change with these launch monitors in a positive way. So we can come up with things as a community that we would like to see implemented, and then I can do a video on it, outline, going from, the 10th most requested to number 1, and just outline it to the companies and just say, hey, this is from the Joe Lagowski Golf community, things that we would love to see come to this device. Now, whether they can do all of them, whether they can, action them quickly, or whether it's going to be a long-term thing, that's totally up to them. But I feel like if we can do, our top 10 requested features and then just show them that, then, they've got some options that they can work with. And I do feel like we have quite a big community now, and we can have a positive influence on these launch monitors. So Square, to me, the Square update was a success. It seems to be going strength to strength. I really can't fault the unit. Yes, it's not going to have the reliability and the, data accuracy as a GC3, but it's bloody close. It is seriously close. And even in my video that I did the other day, I was playing golf and I was just like, if you were just after a device to play simulated golf at home, these, budget devices now, these photometric devices, man, they've gotten good. They have gotten seriously good and seriously quick. Not only the Square, but we've also got Brett's homemade launch monitor. We've got the Nova. All of these devices have gotten seriously good. Stay tuned for Nova updates, because we've got the boys have got some big news. But yeah, lots of good change in the home launch, photometric launch monitor systems. So let me catch up on some of these chats that are coming through. They're coming through thick and fast now, which is good to see. Tomat, good to see you, mate. As always, I see the familiar names checking in. Ryan, that's good. New to the videos. Thank you. Thanks for joining in, Ryan. Spread the word. We are trying to grow. Sean saying thanks for all the Square updates. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, the Square, I mean, it's just a fun, good device, really. Joel, yeah, I know, Joel. They're not really Square. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I don't pay enough attention, but they don't really seem to announce the updates as much. What this new update though, it was a lot more streamlined than the other ones have been. With this one, it did everything in the application, which was nice. I didn't have to plug my device into the computer, etc., like we did the last time. It's a lot better. Roland, I'm pretty annoyed with Square because their support refused to entertain the possibility of simply allowing their iPad software to run on the Apple Vision Pro. That's pretty cool. That would be actually really cool. That's a pretty niche market though, to have the Apple Vision Pro. I'm not sure how much time they'd want to invest in that, just because it would be a very small subset of people where they could, change where they've added those dispersion circles and that whole data sheet. That's going to help, everybody really. And I know Square is this global worldwide device. They're a pretty small team. They are a pretty small team. Even with me, I'm not getting emails back. So you're not alone. You're not alone. All I have to do is check a box and publish it to Apple. I have no idea how it works, mate. If it's that easy, I don't know why they haven't, to be honest. Stated it isn't compatible with the Apple Vision Pro, which isn't true. Okay, that's it. Yeah, maybe I'll look. Maybe when we do the top 10 requested list, Roland, put it in there, and I'll add it. If it doesn't make the top 10, I'll put it as a a special mention. Frugal saying the dark screen was earlier an attempt to use outside or to make it look better. The dark screen was either an attempt to use it or make it look better. Dark screen. Not sure what you're talking about, Spike. Tomat, yeah, good to see you, mate. It's good to see the members checking in. Roland saying he used my SkyTrack Plus with the Apple Vision Pro and it works really well. Yeah, that'd be, man, Apple Vision Pro, that'd be cool. What I've been looking into as well is you can actually get like AR, like kind of like sunnies. They look like sunglasses, and they look really cool because people have been using those because you can see through them. So you get the projection of the sim world, but also you can see in your room, so you can see the golf ball. It'd be trippy. It'd be pretty cool though. Sean is saying, hey Joe, still using the camo heating strip. I'm looking for something new. Any other recommendations? So Sean, no, I'm not using the camo. And the reason for that is because I am very steep on the ball. And so my elbows just copped a beating, to be honest. And it's been an ongoing issue. That what really hurt and kicked it off was the actual mat that I got initially was T-turf. And I thought I'll get T-turf because it's nice and thick. It'll really, take the pain off my elbows and wrists. After 6 months of using the T-turf, my elbows were at the point where I couldn't even rest them on a table. They were absolutely killing. And so that's when I went on this journey to develop the impact strip, because there wasn't a good one you could get in Australia. And so I developed my own essentially. And I've gone through numerous amounts of turf, numerous amounts of foam, and got it to a point where I'm actually really happy with what I've made. This one has actually been sent out on hopefully Tuesday, depending on work. So this is the impact strip I've come up with. And so, yeah, I'm really happy with this product. And I do think this is the best impact strip in Australia. So that's what I use. I will talk about that a bit more later, but that's what I use. And I believe the Kaizen impact strip is the only other impact strip you can get here in Australia. Originally, they didn't actually have the foam on the backing like you see with mine. They just had a bit of polycarbonate, and then they had the 2 bits on the end, so it would sag. I don't know whether they've just got feedback or whether they've watched my videos, but it now has foam on it. However, what I like about mine, and I'll start talking about this a bit more now, what I like about mine is it is designed to be long, and it is long on purpose, because what I do is it's 900 mil long. What I do is I put a line in the middle essentially, and then I'll use the forward half of the impact strip. And then when that's completely worn down and beaten up and used, I then flip it around and I've got a brand new impact strip, and I use this half of the impact strip. So that's why I've designed it to be long, so it lasts a long time and you can flip it around. So impact strips, I'll talk about it later. We're still talking about square. We'll go through these comments and then we'll catch up and I'll talk about those. But no, what I will say is, if you're not steep on the ball, the camo turf is the best turf you can buy, the end. It is insanely good. It's the most durable turf that I've hit off. It is just quality. It is absolute quality. So unless you are very steep like me, I'd just get the camo, to be honest, because it is insanely good turf. It's US made, it's proper, it's not cheap Chinese stuff, it's proper good turf. I wish I could use it, to be honest. I wish I could use it, but I can't, unfortunately. I am Ducati is saying, I got my Square Golf on Thursday to replace my aging SkyTrack OG. Honestly, massive update. Look, everyone's going to have their own preference. I'll probably get slayed for this in the comments. I would rather have a Square Golf launch monitor than a SkyTrack Plus, to be honest. And look, the putting experience, the chipping experience you get from the Square is amazing. If you want to work on your game, the SkyTrack Plus is actually really good with data, like in the higher end of the bag. So full swings, it's amazing. When you get to chipping and putting, man, I struggle with that unit. So for me, someone who plays sim golf, I'd probably just get the Square. Roland saying you get the Square for travel. Absolutely. With the swing stick, it's pretty cool. Yeah, club data on the same screen as the range. I've got to test out the new club data. I had someone message me saying the club data's a bit off with this update, so I've got to check that. Stu's Crew Golf is in the house. Good to see you, mate. Nice video around the top 10 whilst wish list for the ProTee. Thank you, Stu. And like I said, I'm going to be doing more of those top 10s. So join the Joe Lagowski Facebook group because I put the polls in there and it's really easy for people to just add what they want. And then we can just do like a checkbox. So definitely jump on the Facebook group. It's just Joe Lagowski Golf. You've got to answer 3 questions and you get in. Kevin Cotter is in the house. Well, hello from Springfield. Welcome to the live. It is good to see you. No, Square is based in Korea. They're Korean. They're the same people who make X-Putt. Alan is... So, Sean, I've done a few videos on my impact strip. If you search my update videos, I've actually done a full video on my impact strip and shown how I make them. Alan's asking about turf again. So yeah, honestly, Alan, if you are not really steep and you want an amazing, durable turf, get the Easy T camo. If you're really steep like me, you're going to have to get a bit creative. I'm going to be selling these impact strips in Australia, but due to me hand making all of them, I'm probably going to sell them in drops. So what I'll do is I'll probably make about 10 of them and then I'll announce on the Facebook group or somewhere, maybe in the Discord as well. I'll say, hey, I've got 10 of these available, and then first in, best dressed. That's how I'll probably address the impact strips. They are, I'm not going to lie, they are a pain to make. They are a pain, but I do believe in them, and I do think that I've got the best product in Australia. So I do want to help people, so I'm gonna make them. I'll probably do a separate video announcing that, but price for them is going to be 270 Australian dollars, and that includes shipping. Roland saying, I can see a world with pass-through technology on the Apple Vision. Yeah, yeah, AR glasses as well. That's what I could see that, Roland. I could really see that, but I just don't know how people are going to have to get used to having, you know, the video in front of them and then also looking at the ball. So it's going to be a bit strange at first. You definitely have to get used to it. Justin, honestly, how hard, once you've done your elbows, how hard is it to recover? They are so slow to recover. When I did mine, I like I said, I couldn't even rest it on the table without being in pain. It took about 6 months of just not hitting off that turf. As soon as I got my impact strip, it was kind of like relief, but then it still took about 6 months to fully recover. It's crazy how slow they are to recover. Spike saying it may be better with clear, faster it seems, no misses. Waiting on someone with speed to test more. Okay, have you come up with something, Spike? Is this what you're saying? I need to check it out. And yeah, I think with all these budget devices, the cameras they're using, they're very sensitive to light. So the actual cover in front of them, I think Spike's talking about, is darker. And if you were going to take this outside, you'd need to have a darker film on the front. But how dark, you know, is it going to be accurate? I don't know. Yeah, tasty. I agree. Playing GS Pro in the virtual world, actually seeing it would be insane. Even when I played virtual golf there with the Quest, and when I played Golf Plus, man, that was fun. That was fun. Have you tried Titan Turf? Tartan Turf, is it? No, I haven't, Dan. I'm always on the lookout for new putting turf for my impact strip, but I've gone through I've spent a lot of money on putting turf and I've thrown a lot of putting turf away. the one I've got now is really good. Ryan saying, I've seen videos square misreads 1 out of 10 shots. I don't know, Ryan. I've done a fair bit of testing and mine, I mean, it seems to be pretty good. What I might do is I potentially might just do a live and have the GC3 set up with the square. The issue is when you test things side by side like that, interference is a real thing and things just get interfered with. So I don't even know if I could do it because, yeah, especially the square being such a, a budget device, the infrared light it uses has to be a certain amount. And as soon as you start overwhelming something with infrared light, it actually puts like reflections on the golf ball. And so when units are trying to actually track the golf ball, whether they dimple track or whether they use something on the ball, it can have like a, really white, bright spot on the ball. And then the unit can just not lock onto the ball because of that spot. So interference is a real thing. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be fun, but I think it sounds better than it actually would be. And it might honestly create more confusion than it would actually help. But to me, honestly, Ryan, the square has been fantastic in terms of data, in terms of shot shape and everything. I'm just trying to think how I could show that off, whether I do a set of, 30 shots with the GC3 and then 30 shots with the square. I just don't know. Side by side is hard because there's so much interference. Alan is, you have got one of my strips. Hopefully it's going good. I've made a few changes, Alan. Actually, no, I don't think I have since yours. I've just always refining it with, I had someone who got one and one of the, maybe it might have been you, Alan. Someone had one of my strips and one of these black bits of end foam fell off and he had to glue it back on. So I have had, that's only one. I've had slight issues with them and now I've kind of refined how much glue I'm using. There's a balance between using too much. If you put too much on, it starts to like leak out the front and the back and it looks messy. So there's a fine balance of getting the correct amount of glue there. So there is a balance and I'm learning. Lots of comments today, which is good. It definitely helps when all the comments come in. POB 16's in the house. Scott is in the house. Guys, if you want to get a course built, ask Scott. He's amazing. Lots and lots of comments coming in, which is good. Where are we? I've lost my place now. We're talking about headsets. We're talking about virtual golf. Okay. I think I'm caught up. Harris is in the chat. Old Man Golf 2. That's Harris. So Harris has been very, very kind and sending me long, detailed messages about the square. I've been trying to reply, Harris. I do read them all and I take them in and it has massively helped. So thank you for sending those through. I really appreciate it. So like I said, top 10 requests for the square will be happening very soon in the Lagowski Golf Facebook group. Let's now pivot. Let's talk about the ProTee VX. So we had the top 10 request video. I think that was a success. We put the poll in the Facebook group. We got a lot of responses back of what people wanted. And then that has now, I haven't actually emailed ProTee, but someone, I forget who, someone posted it. I think it might have been Jez, posted it in the ProTee Facebook group and they liked it. So I'm sure they've seen it. I do need to reach out to them and make sure they have. But ProTee VX, hopefully, let's see how many of those top 10 request features actually get to the device by the end of the year. I do think they could implement a few of those pretty quickly. So fingers crossed. The good thing about ProTee is they are very proactive with bringing updates and bringing things to users. So really keen to see how that goes. I've kind of already touched on the Joe Lagowski impact strip. So like I said, those I'm going to be making them in bulk and then doing them in drops. So what I'll do is I'll potentially put them on the Facebook group or the Discord, and I'll say, hey, I've got 10 of these, and then I will sell them in drops. So it'll be more of more organized. I think right now I'm trying to make them when people send me an email, but I think it'd be better if I just do them in drops. Price for those, like I've said, are going to be $270 Australian dollars. I'll probably do a video on them. Honestly, that for me, that price is, yeah, the price is for the effort that goes into them, for the products that go into them, the life that you're going to get out of them. I think that is very reasonable. But I'll stand by for some spears. Steve saying he just put Jumbo Max grips on. Yeah, Jumbo Max. Honestly, they're fantastic. I love them. I've got them on all the clubs, and I just ordered them for my old man. So I told him about them, and then we ordered them, and we're going to put them on his clubs. Grey color impact screen. Stu, I have seen that. I've seen Bobby from the Friendly Golfer did. He just did one. Grey impact screens. Very, very interesting. I don't know. I've got to talk to Sam about this from Bayside, because I don't know. From what I've seen in the videos, they do look really cool. You can see a bit more contrast. I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? The way things go. Who would have thought we'd be asking for a grey impact screen? But yeah, potentially we'll get some for testing. We'll have to stand by. New ProTee sitting in the living room, waiting to be installed in a couple of weeks. Ian, that is exciting. That is super exciting. So have you got are you building like a shed, Ian, or is it going to be in your house, or how's that going to work? Roland saying, I've been using Cycle balls to practice with the Skytrack Plus, and they work well. Do you think they could be marked to work with Square? Well, I do have, actually, the I've got from RapsodoBallDots.com, I actually have the stickers that he uses for the Rapsodo's balls. I do have some for the Square. So you could possibly, I don't know whether they'd stick to a Cycle golf ball, potentially, because it's got that plastic cover. So I'm going to say possibly. I'd have to check. I'd have to try it out. Or the other thing is, I've got one of the, I can't see it now, but I did get sent from, having a mind blank now. I got sent a Square Golf, like, little, what do you call it, like stencil, I guess, that you clip over the ball. I'll try and, I'm having a complete mental blank. Gert sent it to me. So I'll try and remember his website, but I got a stencil you could potentially use, clip it over your Sycor, and then put like Sharpie or something on there. So yeah, it's possible. Stu's crew is saying Carl's Place put a really good video out. Okay, I didn't know that. I will go and watch Carl's Place. I'll watch their videos. No, Harris, they're not. No, absolutely not. The troubles with Driver, I could get into it now. Let's do it. So my troubles with Driver at the moment, my natural pattern and what my body wants to tend to do is to get really narrow and cupped with my left wrist, and my right arm kind of gets behind. So then when I swing down, I get a bit under. Now this is obviously exaggerated. And then on the way through, I'm stuck and I need to flip to get that club face closed. And that excessive rotation of me flipping is what's causing my troubles with Driver at the moment. So being inside and then stuck and then having to flip, you've got to time it so well. And when I'm not on and I'm swinging it bad, my swing gets a bit more behind, that's where the issue's coming from. So what I've done recently in my feels is when I'm working on my golf swing, the reason it's exaggerated driver is because it's longer. So the driver's longer, and so it's actually quite hard. So the longer the club, the worse it gets with my swing when I'm not on. So with irons and wedges, it's fine. I can kind of cover it and stay down and hit on top of it. But with the driver, I really struggle because it's long, and that's why I don't go longer than 45 inches with my driver. But what I do is I work on opposite feels. So I haven't been able to practice, but what I've been trying to rehearse as much as I can is the opposite feel of, and if you've watched my member video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So my move is where I suck it inside and get cupped. And so in my pre-shot routine, I'm working on bowing my left wrist and staying out. And so working on the complete opposite feel to then try and neutralize my swing. And that's what I've been working on, and I'm hitting it a lot better. I'm hitting it a lot straighter, which is good, but it's finding the time to practice is quite hard at the moment for me. Yeah, Spike saying my screen has been up long enough to be grey like me. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You'll end up with a grey screen if you just leave it up and use it for a long time. Ian, converted your drive, your garage. That's good. That's cool. So how high is your ceiling then? You would have had to get that lifted, wouldn't you? Insulation goes in next week. That should be super quiet then on the outside. I think eventually I would love to have a proper sim room, like out the back. You walk outside, you've got this, you know, nice shed, kind of like Josh Oddie does. He's got one of those. They're so cool. And then our poor cars could actually use the garage. Grey schemes reduce the brightness but enhance contrast slightly. If you have a dark room, white is better. If you have a bright room, grey can sometimes help. That's actually interesting. So potentially, you know, if you've got a commercial center or something where you have a bit more light, then grey might be the way to go. Yeah, I can definitely see that, Harris. Yeah, I thankfully have. I'm quite lucky in the fact with BenQ, with the BenQ LK 936 ST. Very fortunate to have that. Shout out to BenQ. Yeah, nice, Ian. That is, you've done it properly, mate. You've done it properly. Harris is saying, how tall is my screen? Let me, 2.6 meters. It's the Bayside medium enclosure, which is, let me get the actual dimensions. Medium wide enclosure, I should say. Medium and wide. It's 2.6 tall, 1.5. I've got the side, you know, barriers that come out 1.5 meters and then 3.5 meters in width. That is 8 feet 6.3 inches. Harris? Okay, John V. I commented a couple of live events ago about spin issues with Scroggle. I discovered it was due to the white tees. Yes, that actually hosed me over with the iMini. So with my iMini, when I first got it, I was using, what are those tees called? The Burr tees. I was using Burr tees, and I think they were blue. I can't remember. They were a different color. And yeah, that's a real thing. The unit was locking onto the tee. And so since I've switched to my K2 tees, which stay tuned for an update video on these, because Kevin's sending me, he's updated the design of the actual lanyards and the bags. and the actual clips used. But since I use these K2 tees, which I love, I haven't had any issues with misreads. But I remember I had to buy, but I ended up buying black tees because I was having issues with the unit picking up the tee, which is crazy. Roland's saying, I've never played on an actual course and don't feel I'm missing anything. That is crazy. So, Roland, you've always just been sim golf, is that right? You're a pure blood sim golfer. That's got to be pretty rare. Hit him straight. Thanks for joining, mate. Another name I don't think I've seen before. Been watching your video since December when I bought my square, built a shed and put my sim room in, but it just can't wait. I'm just can't wait to now about to run electric and insulate. Oh, nice. That's cool. Whereabouts are you? Hit 'em straight. I've got to price up a shed. That's what I've got to do. I've got to price up a shed. I'm sure it's a big process to insulate it and do all that, because you want to make it. Oh, in the States, yeah. So you want to make it real insulated because of sound. Like for me, if you're going to make a shed, it's got to be able to contain the sound of a driver. Otherwise, your neighbors are going to get angry. That's exciting. Stu, I reached out to them and they got back to me about the software, and I said to them, please, I would love to show it off on the channel. I'd love to show even the beta that they showed off at the PGA. I don't even know if it was a beta. I think it was just an alpha build. I said, I'd love to show that off on the channel. They said no, unfortunately. And I said, look, if you guys would like, and when the time's right, I'd love to be able to show it off on the channel. And they said, we'll keep you in mind. So fingers crossed at some point I get to show it off. I'd say with software, with things like that, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while, I'd say. Yeah, ceiling height is a big thing. That's what I wish I had higher ceilings. I've cut into my ceiling. I've shown that off before, but I wish I had 3-meter ceilings. It'd be perfect. But yeah. So Roland's saying, yeah, interested in golf a couple of years ago during the pandemic, bought nice Callaway clubs and Skytrack Plus, hit outdoors in a semi-enclosed carport into a net. That is amazing. That is so cool. That is really cool. That'd be interesting to see if you had someone who only played sim golf from the start, and then you took them after, say, 5-10 years of sim golf and put them on a golf course. How would they shoot? Because what you're not getting in the sim is a lot of real, I guess I call it golf IQ. So you're not learning how to read the subtleties in different lies and how grain's going to affect the shot and all of these things that take essentially time, practice on course, playing all different types of lies, hitting it out of mulch, hitting it out of, rough, thick grass, hitting it out of all these random lies, and learning to read a lie of a golf ball in a bunker and how that is going to affect the actual shot that you have to play. It'd be really interesting to take a pure blood sim golfer. Say if you took Rory McIlroy and you put him only in a sim from when he was 2 to, like, say 20, and then you had the McIlroy that played outside, and just to see the difference between the two golfers, that'd be so interesting. Cool. Alan's saying, Joe, how good would you say data is comparing Square to Nova or iMini, carry, backspin, spin axis? I've got, Alan, I haven't used it enough on the latest update, to be honest. I've only played 9 holes and everything seems really good. it's really hard to actually quantify and give exact data comparisons between the Square and say the GC3 or the Nova or the iMini, because interference is just, it's massive. And if I was to do a side-to-side comparison and the Square had a few misreads, I can't really put that down to the Square having a misread because it could potentially be interference. So that's why, for me, I always say I like to use these units for like a month to really understand them, do a combination of, you know, side-by-side comparisons, do a combination of individual tests on different days, really play a lot of golf with it, and really get to know the device before ultimately I can say, yes, this is accurate, or no, this is accurate. Since the latest update, just using it for that 9 holes, incredible. Didn't have one shot. I had one shot that had 2,900 for the backspin. The video will be coming out tomorrow, I think. But that, I put it down to an open face because I was way open. I left it way open, so it was going to spin high. So for me, with this latest update, if you just want to play simulated golf and you're not trying to, say if you're just using this device for fun, for me, the level that I'm at, I would want something like a iMini GC3, something like that, ProTee. That's the level I'm at. I'm trying to, you know, compete. I'm trying to get to world #1 in the sim golf rankings. I'm trying to, you know, really, I'm hyper aware of my golf game. I'm trying to get the most I can out of it. I'm going to gravitate to one of those more expensive devices just for that, you know, ultimate accuracy. I'm not going to question it. You know, everything is what it says. You can 100% rely on. With the Square, you might have 1 or 2 shots around that aren't completely accurate. Now, are you even going to notice them? That is the question, I guess, that we have to ask ourselves. And that is where you go, if I'm just using this for fun and I'm a mid-handicap and I'm just getting something just to use when it's raining outside on the weekend and I want to play golf, then honestly, the Square is going to be fine for you. It is going to be absolutely fine. It's a real rabbit hole to get into, and I think a lot of people get wrapped up about data accuracy, and it's to the point where, you know, is the device, is it good enough for what you need it to be? The Square, even for me, just going and playing golf, it's seriously good. I've had what I think is a squirrely read about 1 in 100 or so, but I'm no Joe and can create some squirrely shots. Harris, yeah. So Harris has done a lot of testing, and like I said, his messages were absolutely amazing, and I really thank you for sending those through, Harris. Even though I don't get back to you all the time really quick, I'm insanely busy, and that's no excuse, but I really appreciate your messages. And yeah, Harris has got to be one of the guys who uses his the most, so I'd take his word for it. Ryan saying, building a shed now for golf. Lots of money going out. Want the ProTee, but the price tag is tough on top of everything else. Yeah, California. Yeah, honestly, Ryan, what you could do, and this is what I did when I first started, and I built up. I know you see what you see now, but it was not like this originally. I started with the Garmin R10. Now, there weren't all these amazing photometric devices out when I was starting my sim, you know, journey. I was going to get the Mevo Plus, and I was in your position, Ryan, where I just went, I'm putting a lot of money out. And so I ended up getting the Garmin R10 first. And like, I loved that thing. I absolutely loved it. It had obvious flaws, it had issues, but it got me playing golf. It got me swinging. And the Garmin R10 was the gateway drug. And that's now what the Square is. It is the gateway drug. And it's seriously good. It's way better than the Garmin R10 was when it first came out. Like, insanely better. You can putt with it. The chipping's amazing. Frugal's saying, I play on the same course once each year after a couple of days on the grass range to see where my game's at that point. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't really play outside that much. Stu, I have. So I've been using the ProTee Direct connector now since it came out. And I've got to say, I've had a few little issues with it that I didn't have with the Open API, but I know they're sorting through those. So yeah, I had a few random like disconnects, and then I had to end up closing the software, rebooting it again. It was a bit weird, but I think they're sorting through those issues, which is good. The good thing about it is we've got a direct connect. That's the main thing, because the Open API now is just so fraught with, you know, so many things that people can, apparently they can cheat really easily with Open API. And I think that is happening because, yeah. Well, I know it's happening because someone was caught. All right. So Antarx is saying, hey Joe, do most of these courses, any of these leagues in GS Pro accommodate forward tees? Building a sim, but don't think I'll be able to hit my driver on it. Absolutely, mate. So you've got the Par 3 Tour, which is SGT. You've got certain leagues I know that are short courses as well. So yeah, you've got a few leagues. What I would do, I don't know how high your ceiling is, mate, but mini drivers. Check out a mini driver. See if you can get a mini driver and use one of those in your sim. Stu's in California too. I love California. I was there. When was I there? Last year. Really nice place. Spike saying, I'm waiting on the next overhead unit price breakthrough now. Yes, I do think we're going to see in the future, we'll see overheads, a lot more overheads from more companies. And I do think, much like we've seen with the Square taking over as the budget photometric based king on the ground, I do think we'll see an overhead unit that is essentially the Square, but on the roof. Surely it's got to happen. Someone's got to be working on that. Ian's saying, love my TaylorMade burner mini driver. Do you know what mini driver I've been looking at is that TaylorMade R7 quad one? That just has so much nostalgia for me. The R7 quad was like my first proper driver. Like it was my first proper TaylorMade driver. And now with the nostalgia of that mini driver coming out, I'm going, man, that looks good. It just brings back so many memories. Harris is saying, as some know, I've used an iMini and I would say the Square is 98% of the accuracy. No idea about the club data, and 15% the cost. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up, Harris. That pretty much sums it up. So yes, you are going to have the very occasional misread. And when you do, it will probably really annoy you. And it'll probably be like the worst possible time in a simulator golf tour round. But that's not to say you're not going to get those misreads with the iMini. If you look, when was it? I'm going to say probably a couple of months ago now, I was playing in one of my league rounds with the iMini. On the 18th tee, I was in the lead. I hit a four wood, I think it was. I can't remember. It like shanked dead right, like ridiculous, way right, unrealistic. So the iMini has random misreads as well. And I think that's just the nature of sim golf. Sometimes these photometric based units are going to pick up on the tee. They're going to pick up on something and have misreads. It is what it is. Yeah. I think, Stu, what goes into it is just nostalgic purposes as well. Like if I got mine, you'd be playing around with the weights. You'd be like a kid in a candy store. Yeah, and Harris, that's exactly right. And yeah, just take a mulligan. What I will say though is if you're playing in a sim round, like a tournament round, it will happen at the worst possible time, won't it? It always does. It'll miss your really good drive or something, and then you'll hit a second drive and it'll be horrendous. It's just the way sim golf is. Okay, so that is, I guess I've touched on everything I really want to touch on. Square golf. let's just talk about the application, because I released a video on it a day ago now. The application's gotten way better. And I've got to say, there were comments came through about the swing stick only being an option in the bag map. And I do think, after reading these comments, and I've got to reply to some of them, it probably is a good idea that they're doing it that way, because if you read the comments, the guy's saying that essentially you can set when you want to change to the swing stick. So say if you can hit 4-iron through all your wedges in your sim, and then you want to use the swing stick for your hybrid 3-wood and driver, then you can set it up that way. So it is actually a good idea the way they've done it. So I take that back. After reading those comments, I can actually understand why you would want to do it that way. Mark's agreeing with the square. Yep. And look, I think the more people, it's like, I got the Garmin R10 when I first started. I loved that thing. It was amazing. It opened up a world of sim golf to me. And now, if you get the square and you get GS Pro, it's just, the combination is just insane. It is just so good. You've got effectively as good as a commercial sim, if not better, because the putting experience is going to be better in your house. It's nuts. Thanks, Natural Light. I really appreciate that, mate. It is cool to see new people coming in. And I get so many comments every day of people that, watch my videos and they say they help. So that's, I guess, the reason I'm doing it. So thank you. Spike saying, if you set your driver to the swing stick and go to the range, it can be confusing and mine would not change clubs. Okay, so maybe there are some slight issues. I haven't tested it out yet, so maybe I need to go and test that out. But the changes in the application that Square have made, I love. That video I put out the other day, man, I love the dispersion circles. I love the new table where you can see all your data. It's fantastic. They've made some really, really positive changes. You can export it into a CSV file. I do love that. It is really cool. I can't actually, I'll probably, at the end of this video, I'll probably put the poll in the Facebook group for the square. So stay tuned for that. We'll get our top 10 most requests and I'll make a video on it, and hopefully Square watches it and then implements some of them. All right, guys, I think that is going to be it for the video. We'll probably sign off a little bit early today. I do have to be out the house very shortly. Unless anyone's got any more pressing comments coming through. Yeah, sorry, Harris. Not the putting practice. Yes. Why didn't they? I don't understand. And like I said in the video, there's a few things that don't make sense. Where you set your distances for your clubs, they should be in 1 yard increments. Putting should be in 1 foot increments. And also the wedge practice should be in 1 yard increments. I don't know why they've done it in 5 and 10. It is odd. It's too much of a gap. It's too much of a jump. We want to get really precise with things. Let us do it down to a foot or a yard. Mark is saying, do you put a club marker on your putter? No. No, I don't believe you do. Thanks, Stu. I really appreciate that, mate. Make sure everybody, if you want to get involved in these polls, join the Facebook group. That's the easiest place to do these polls, is just doing one in the Facebook group. So if you want to be part of them, jump on. Yeah, okay, yes. The square greens, I'm going to say they're not like GS Pro, and I do feel like on longer putts, they're too quick. They are seriously quick. They potentially need to adjust the green speeds a little bit for me. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I do need to get out of the house, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining today. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys, yes, next Sunday. We will do a live next Sunday, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good Sunday.